Friends, for too long our leaders have sat idly by while other countries took advantage of America. They watched as our industries were hollowed out, and our communities suffered. Factories that once buzzed with activity now stand silent, and the pride of American craftsmanship has been overshadowed by cheap imports. They allowed unfair trade deals to ship our jobs overseas. These deals were made without considering the long-term impact on American workers and their families. The result? A devastating loss of jobs and a weakened economy. They watched as our manufacturing base crumbled. Once thriving industrial towns have become ghost towns, and the American dream has slipped further out of reach for many. But no more. President Trump is finally putting America first. He understands that a strong manufacturing base is essential for a strong nation. On March 4, 2025, President Trump took decisive action to protect American workers and businesses. This bold move marks a turning point in our trade policy. He imposed tariffs on goods imported from China, Canada, and Mexico. These tariffs are designed to level the playing field and ensure that American businesses can compete fairly. These tariffs are a clear message: the era of unfair trade practices is over. No longer will we allow other countries to take advantage of our open markets without reciprocating. These tariffs are not about starting a trade war, they are about restoring fairness and ensuring that American workers are given a fair shot. They are about leveling the playing field. For too long, American workers have been at a disadvantage, competing against countries that do not play by the same rules. For years, China has manipulated its currency, dumped cheap goods on our market, and stolen American intellectual property. These practices have hurt American businesses and workers. Canada and Mexico have benefited from trade deals that have cost American jobs. These deals have allowed them to flood our markets with goods, while our own industries suffer. President Trump is simply saying, enough is enough. It's time to stand up for American workers and businesses. It's time for these countries to start playing by the rules. Fair trade is not just a slogan, it's a necessity for the prosperity of our nation. Our trade relationship with China has been particularly one-sided. For years, the United States has been importing a vast array of goods from China, ranging from electronics to clothing, at a much higher rate than we export to them. In 2024 alone, the U.S. imported $430 billion worth of goods from China. This massive influx of Chinese products has had a significant impact on American industries, often undercutting prices and making it difficult for local businesses to compete. Meanwhile, China has placed unfair barriers on American products entering their market. These barriers include high tariffs, stringent regulations, and other trade practices that make it challenging for American companies to sell their goods in China. The new tariffs on Chinese goods are designed to address this imbalance. By imposing these tariffs, the U.S. aims to level the playing field and ensure that American businesses have a fair chance to compete. A 10% tariff has been added to all Chinese imports, on top of a pre-existing 10% tariff imposed last month, bringing the total to 20%. This significant increase is expected to have a noticeable impact on the prices of Chinese goods in the U.S. market. This will make Chinese goods more expensive in the U.S. market, encouraging consumers to buy American. By shifting consumer preferences towards domestically produced goods, the tariffs aim to boost the American economy and create more jobs. Of course, China is not happy about these tariffs. They view them as an aggressive move that disrupts the established trade dynamics between the two countries. They have retaliated with tariffs on U.S. agricultural goods and other measures against American companies. This retaliation has hit American farmers particularly hard, as China is a major market for U.S. agricultural exports. They have even filed a lawsuit with the World Trade Organization. This legal action aims to challenge the U.S. tariffs and seek a resolution through international trade laws. But President Trump is not backing down. He believes that these tariffs are necessary to protect American interests and to push back against what he sees as unfair trade practices by China. He knows that China has been cheating for years. By implementing these tariffs, he aims to hold China accountable and ensure that American businesses can thrive without being undercut by unfair competition. He is determined to stand up for American workers and businesses, no matter the cost. This strong stance is intended to send a clear message that the U.S. will not tolerate unfair trade practices and will take necessary actions to protect its economic interests. The tariffs on Canada and Mexico are about more than just trade. They are about protecting American lives. Illegal fentanyl, a deadly drug, has been pouring across our borders from these countries. the president has used his authority under the International Emergency Economic Powers Act, or IEEPA, to impose these tariffs. The IEEPA allows the president to act in cases of national emergency, and there is no question that the fentanyl crisis is a national emergency. Canada and Mexico have a responsibility to stop the flow of fentanyl into our country, but they have not done enough. The tariffs are a way to get their attention and force them to take action. Section 4. Standing strong, no more empty promises. Some have urged President Trump to negotiate with Canada and Mexico to avoid these tariffs, but the president has been clear, there is no room for further negotiations. He has already given these countries ample time to address our concerns. In January, when the tariffs were first announced, Canada and Mexico were given a month to improve their border security measures. They made some promises, but those promises have not been kept. President Trump knows that the only way to get results is to take a tough stance. He will not be bullied by foreign leaders. He will always put the interests of American citizens first. Section 5. The market speaks short-term pain, long-term gain. The announcement of these tariffs has sent shockwaves through the global economy. Investors and traders are reacting with a mix of anxiety and uncertainty as the immediate impact of these policies begins to unfold. The financial markets are often the first to respond to such significant changes, reflecting the collective sentiment of stakeholders worldwide. Stock markets have fallen, and gold prices have surged. This is a classic response to economic instability, as investors seek safer assets to protect their wealth. The volatility in the stock market is a clear indicator of the nervousness that pervades the financial community. Some economists predict that the cost of these tariffs will be passed on to consumers through higher prices. This means that everyday goods could become more expensive, affecting household budgets and consumer spending. The ripple effects of these tariffs are likely to be felt across various sectors of the economy, but these short-term costs are a small price to pay for the long-term benefits of these tariffs. The goal is to protect domestic industries and jobs, ensuring that American workers are not unfairly disadvantaged by international competition. Over time, the hope is that these measures will lead to a more robust and self-sufficient economy. By standing up to China, Canada, and Mexico, President Trump is sending a clear message. America will no longer be taken advantage of. This stance is intended to renegotiate trade deals that are more favorable to the United States, aiming to correct imbalances that have persisted for years. This message will have a ripple effect throughout the global economy. Other nations are watching closely, and the precedent set by these actions could influence global trade policies. The interconnected nature of modern economies means that changes in one country can have far-reaching consequences. Other countries will be forced to reconsider their own unfair trade practices. The hope is that this will lead to more equitable trade agreements and a fairer global trading system. The ultimate aim is to create a level playing field where all nations can compete fairly, and in the long run, this will lead to a more level playing field and a stronger American economy. The vision is for a future where American industries thrive, jobs are secure, and the economy is resilient against external shocks. The journey may be challenging, but the destination promises significant rewards. Section 6. Fighting Back. Retaliation and the Price of Fairness. Canada and Mexico have responded to the tariffs with retaliatory measures of their own. Canada has imposed 25% tariffs on a wide range of U.S. goods, including machinery, auto parts, and agricultural products. Mexico is also planning retaliatory tariffs, potentially targeting U.S. pork, cheese, and produce. These retaliatory tariffs are unfortunate, but they are not unexpected. When you stand up to bullies, they often lash out. But President Trump is not intimidated. He knows that America is strong enough to weather this storm. In fact, these retaliatory tariffs may actually benefit the American economy in the long run. They will force American consumers to buy American-made products, supporting American jobs and businesses. Section 7. America First. Securing our future. The tariffs imposed by President Trump are a bold and necessary step to protect American workers, secure our borders, and restore fairness to our trade relationships. These tariffs send a clear message to the world. America is back, and we will no longer tolerate being taken advantage of. The road ahead may be rocky, there will be challenges and setbacks, but President Trump is committed to putting America first. He knows that the future of our country depends on it. And remember, friends, this is just the beginning. Stay tuned for more updates on the Trump administration's efforts to make America great again. Don't forget to like, follow, and subscribe for more.